See,
Right.
I mean, just, things we probably not allowed to say, but like in terms of like things that made it super memorable, I think the thing that comes to mind is like,
Don't worry, I'm gonna run this after it comes out. So,
oh,
let's keep.
oh yeah, so okay, so the
Yo, Juel Taylor, my guy right here really did his thing with his directorial debut in They Cloned Tyrone. This is an incredibly fun film. I like how the movie highlights a perspective of America that is often either ignored or misunderstood. Now, this genre-blending movie pays homage to the iconic Blaxploitation films of the 1970s, while also infusing a little bit of fresh and, funky twists along the way. The movie is led with an all-star cast, including John Boyega, Teyonah Parris, and Jamie Foxx. With the chemistry between these three, oh my gosh, it is thick as syrup. The intriguing plot twists that are revealed throughout the movie pull us into a deeper world where identity, responsibility, and deception collide, and it leads to an unforgettable experience. So, without further ado, let's hop into the good. Now, in They Cloned Tyrone, the acting chemistry between John Boyega, Teyonah Parris, and Jamie Foxx is tastier than macaroni and candy yams at a Thanksgiving dinner. And believe me, I'm hungry for more. One of the film's undeniable highlights is the incredible acting chemistry between the stars of the movie. You have Boyega's portrayal of Fontaine, and it's a little mind-blowing. Really, when you notice how this actor immerses himself in the role, he disappears really into an abyss of his talent and reemerges as this hypnotic character that leaves a lasting impression. How does he make this British accent of his disappear and just become something else? I don't know how he does it, but my man just keeps doing it. Jamie Foxx delivers a character that's just as funny and witty as any, and he gives us a hint of the old kind of sketch comedy characters that he used to be known for in the 90s, like, Wanda, when he comes out with his character Slick Charles. Teyonah is sultry and witty, and she makes Yo-Yo not only hold her own with these two acting giants, but she's also a scene-stealing character. Again, kudos to first-time director Juel Taylor, who impressively serves up a delicious blend of Blaxploitation elements with a fresh and easy-to-digest presentation. Walking away from the film, I found myself craving for more of its flavorful goodness, and I just wish it didn't end where it did. The movie feels effortless, and it just seemed very natural in its tone, structure, and pacing, and the delivery. Honestly, I just can't say enough good things about how well this movie came together, right? The story flows smoother than a fresh set of jerry curls, and that's a fact. What elevates the experience to another level is the seamless on-screen chemistry of our leads. I can't talk about this enough. It's remarkable how well they mesh together, especially considering I don't think they did even any rehearsals together before filming. Their chemistry is a testament to their talent, and it makes every scene sparkle with electricity and energy and authenticity. This camaraderie adds an extra layer of enjoyment to this already enjoyable film. It's a treat. Enjoy it. Soak it up at home. As viewers, we get to witness this trio's journey uncovering a secret government conspiracy, and I promise you, it's a roller coaster ride you're going to be glad to be on. Now, with all the things that happen in this movie that's good, we really do have to talk about the bad. While They Cloned Tyrone nails many aspects, the film's ending leaves a little bit to be desired. The whole last act of the film, and it is ultimately satisfying, it isn't without issues. There's this character, Isaac. He's Fontaine's drug-dealing gang rival who suddenly switches sides to lend a helping hand. And it feels somewhat forced, and it lacks any genuine motivation. It's plot convenience. A more natural resolution would have given the story a much stronger impact, but it doesn't entirely diminish the enjoyment of the film. There's so much to enjoy in this, especially when they all come together. For any fan who likes to see one of those Avengers Endgame moments where all the heroes band together to take down the big bad of the movie, you're gonna get that satisfaction here. Now, the other aspect of the bad is Kiefer Sutherland's character, who's entertaining but perplexing. He's really confusing. His mood swings between merciful and ruthless, all while desperately seeking power and attention. It just really left me questioning his true intentions. It's like he's a roller coaster of personality traits, which can be a bit disorienting. His erratic nature makes it challenging to really grasp his motivations, and at times it pulls me out of the experience. Overall, though, Sutherland's performance is still really enjoyable, adding an interesting layer to the narrative. He doesn't ruin the movie. It's just a little forced and weird. Overall, They Cloned Tyrone is a delightful tribute to the Blaxploitation genre, while introducing a fresh perspective that's going to leave audiences eagerly anticipating what the future holds for this unique universe. Now, whether you're a fan of Blaxploitation films or simply you're just looking for something entertaining to watch over the weekend, They Cloned Tyrone delivers on all fronts. Get ready. You're going to be swept away by the charisma of John Boyega, Teyonah Parris, Jamie Foxx, as they really try to navigate this world of cloning and government conspiracy. Again, despite the minor hiccups, it's a must watch all the way until the very end. Make sure you stick around to the end to learn the meaning of the title and discover how this movie sets up potential sequels.
Okay, all right. No problem.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, come over.
Come on.
Hi.
Come on. Hi. Thank you both so much. I'm so very excited to speak to you. We're gonna have some fun. But I'm gonna warn y'all from now. I'm not gonna ask y'all easy questions. Some of these questions gonna be hard.
Okay.
Oh shit, I'm trying.
You ready?
So, my first question for Juel, what inspired you to?
Okay.
I'm sorry, did I mispronounce your name?
My mama called me Juel, so it can be either one.
Well,
It can be
Joel.
my,
What inspired you to explore the concept of cloning in They Cloned Tyrone? How did you approach putting a unique spin on it?
The cloning specifically, I mean, I think that came it came relatively early, honestly, in terms of once we, it started from this thematic question of like, is there a difference between blame and responsibility? And kind of as we explored that question, Fontaine's character, it when you're extrapolating to like the craziest scenario, it didn't take long to get to cloning. I don't want to spoil like where it goes at the end. I don't know if
I saw the whole thing. Oh yeah.
Oh, so where not without spoiling where it goes at the end, like we kind of work backwards from like if a guy's having a literal identity crisis, like so hard to talk about these things without like spoiling. Person having a literal identity crisis and knowing the ending of the movie and like kind of how it ultimately plays out. You're working backwards from like what's the craziest thing that we could think about that would really put those polarities of who he is into conflict with one another. And if you think about like where it goes, cloning kind of naturally starts to like be an offshoot of that. No, that's probably not a satisfactory answer without seeing the movie, but
I love it. Well, I felt like the movie pays homage to a lot of the Blaxploitation films of the 70s. Can you share how these films influenced your vision for this project, and how did you incorporate their essence while still making the film feel fresh and contemporary?
I mean, I think really, obviously there's the aesthetics, which kind of, the aesthetics are kind of self-explanatory, but at the same time, I think there's also this quality of just like getting it out the mud that I really, I think it's more like kind of in the, ethos of like our approach, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times like I don't know if you've seen like some movie like Blackula, like some of these movies that had no budget, zero budget, but they still like tackle like high concepts, you know what I'm saying? And like a lot of times like really made something out of nothing. And I think that's really where a lot of the inspiration came from of like, when we set out, we were not as fortunate we didn't know we're gonna have like amazing actors, we didn't know what we would have, you know what I'm saying? We were like, we used to be lucky, want to make it at all. So you're attacking this with this idea like that, you still have this film school mindset of like, we gotta get out the mud. You still want to do something that feels high concept.
Okay. Now, Teyonah, I got questions for you too now.
I'm here. I like hearing what he has to say. I've heard this.
Can you tell us about your character in the movie and what initially drew you to the?
Yeah, so I read this script back in 2018. It's been a while, and immediately when I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be a part of this. And so I auditioned and I met Juel and the whole team, and basically was like, look, y'all gonna harm me with it. Back down. And so really I fought for it for a couple of years, really. It was up, and it just takes a while to get a movie on its feet and all of the moving parts. And so I really just wanted to be a part of it. I loved how we were mixing all of these genres. You throw them up. And because of that, because we were creating our own world, there just were no boundaries. And so for that, I relied heavily on Juel to help me find the tone for Yo-Yo, because she is a very vivacious character and does too much often. I mean, from her wardrobe, from her go-get-it attitude. And so, I felt it was too much. Let me not say Yo-Yo was too much. She don't think she too much. You know what I mean? But I wanted to make sure that I found a balance between, like the satire part of what we're doing and the deep, thriller concept of what we were doing, and making sure, there was, I was in the right vein. Because there was a couple of times where I think in post, Juel realized, woo,
She did a great job.
Yeah.
No.
No, but that's because, thank you, that you feel that way. But that's because I had Juel there to be like, all right, I think we should, let's try it this way or that way.
Well,
and
yeah.
that was fun.
Yeah, I ain't had to do much of nothing. The actors, like, they turned it into something that it wasn't even on the page. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's like what you see when you're writing it, and then it's like what you get is like way different and better than what you imagined that you would get. Once people like inhabit the character, so like she'd be a nice, she'd be a nice, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like honestly, like that part of it, like it's very difficult in terms of like production. You know what I'm saying? But that part of production wasn't difficult because I actually have any work to do, like in that regard, right? Like I have very little work to do. It's like, they were so, like invested in their characters, you know what I'm saying? And they like took ownership of it and they pushed back, you know what I mean? Like that's, you need that in terms of like, when you're, so that you're not like completely in your own like bubble of ideas, you know what I'm saying? And so like, fortunately, they were gracious enough to like, push back on things that didn't feel natural to them and their character. Because once they take over, it's their character. It ain't mine no more. So, the fact that they were invested enough to really like think of the story as a whole, like the whole apparatus, and not necessarily just think of like this individual scene that we're shooting right now. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it was a lot. It's a lot easier than it maybe could have been, if I wasn't so fortunate, with the actors who, graced us.
That's one of my favorite things about what we got to do is the fact that like Jamie and John and I as a trio, we didn't have a rehearsal, all of us. And our first time as a trio together was in front of the camera. And so that was nerve-wracking for me, a very type A person. Like, what? We don't get a group rehearsal. What are we going to do? But I will say immediately I felt safe with John and Jamie as an artist to be able to play and to just have fun. They're just so generous with the craft, and we just, the chemistry and synergy, and especially between Slick and Yo-Yo, because they're a duo, really, a dynamic duo. You really need those two to be able to have chemistry and really go toe-to-toe with each other. So that was, once we all got together, and with John and Jamie, it really felt like a family between us and also the crew and the creatives. And so we really just had a good time.
did you have like any favorite scenes or moments from the movie that you enjoyed filming?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the first thing comes to mind is like the craziest thing that makes me like, oh, see,
Right.
I mean, just, things we probably not allowed to say, but like in terms of like things that made it super memorable, I think the thing that comes to mind is like,
Don't worry, I'm gonna run this after it comes out. So,
oh,
let's keep.
oh yeah, so okay, so the the scene, there's a scene towards the end we shot it very early though. I think it was there's two things that like really burn in my head that just make me laugh. One is like a favorite scene to shoot, and one is like that surreal experience of like day one about to shoot the first scene. Everybody's here but Jamie, and I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm just recreating the story. He's like, you hear WAP, and it's like, what is that? And like, it is WAP playing super late, like he walks the scene in character. I'm like, oh my.
In character, it's like a boxer entering.
He came in like a boxer, like
every time.
he had a book bag that was also a speaker. Something I was like, this a boombox book bag. I don't know, maybe the things that we do not. And he comes in with WAP, and I was like, oh man, this shit is crazy. And so, but the thing that I think was like the funnest thing that there's a lot of super fun things, but I think maybe like the third or fourth day, because we shot it like in a bubble, like it was like summer camp. Everybody like
we were sequestered.
NBA bubble. It was like 2020. You know what I mean? When we like December 2020, but because of that, like I had like my homeboys from back home, and like people was just in the bubble and like just kind of catch all like they background, they PAing, you know what I'm saying? So I had like my friends who was on set like in the bubble with us, and we did this like big scene where they're like destroying some beakers and destroying this lab. And we played music like every day, so we had this big boom box and stuff, and like we try to get in the character. We playing you came on set, started dancing, getting crunk. Remember when they destroyed the lab?
I wanted to see it.
Well, and we was playing like we some head busters, like we say we was playing like no, we was playing nothing. Well, that's what everything was no. So like seeing that shot, and even though like we literally hit stop on Nuck If You Buck, right? Like rolling, they stopped the music. They like listen to Nuck If You Buck, and it's like don't get caught. We run into like all of these background actors who were like with lab coats, and it's like, don't get caught, don't let them catch you, don't let them catch you.
You should only film it once, right?
You can only film it once,
yeah.
Because
they're busting up the whole thing.
Destroy it.
Like,
and so you can only film it once. And so it's like, y'all better get crunk up in here. And so we just the fact that like you had all of these people that just basically turned this scene into like a mini party.
Yeah.
Right. All the way up to the moment, cut the music, it was like action, and then they just started like destroying stuff. I was like, and then we had another scene to shoot, so Teyonah like literally heard the music. Everybody heard the music and was like, what's going on in here? And everybody just came in there and started like dancing, so we ain't even shooting right away because everybody so that was fun.
No, too.
Well, thank you both so much. I know you are both very busy. Real quick, looking ahead, are there any particular genres or storytelling styles that you're interested in exploring in your future projects? Teyonah, I know you Captain Marvel. I already know what you got next. But are there any particular genres or storytelling that?
Yeah, I really would love to do a rom-com. I am so very interested in seeing just a Black woman enjoy love and life and be loved on, and I really want to put that into the atmosphere and in the world. So I would love to do a rom-com. I'm really open. Since having my child, I've had to learn a bit more of trying to just go with the flow a little more, and just with more ease, and just letting things come to me and not trying to control everything. So yeah, I'm pretty open, but I do want to do a rom-com in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, our tastes gravitate towards so many different things. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I, I don't. I don't want to like put my foot in my mouth in terms of people like, oh, that's what they want to do now. I mean, I do love like wuxia cinema and like 80s Hong Kong kung fu flicks. So, I mean, not saying that would be that's somewhere I
think you have to worry about somebody saying that's the only thing you're gonna do.
You know, but I love like Police Story, you know, things like that. You know, Drunken Master, Police Story. I would be very interested in exploring that world for sure at some point.
I would love to see it, especially if you have an all black cat.
We try to do it, you know what I'm saying? Trying to do it, man.
Well, thank you both so much.
You don't have to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I just said I got no specific movie like off the top, but
well, I'm very, very excited. Teyonah, I'm very excited to see you again. I hope to speak to you when you're doing your promotion for the Marvels. Thank you both so very, very much. I really appreciate your time. I know how valuable it is. I look forward to working with you guys again in the future. Enjoy the rest of your time in Miami.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, brother.
Have a good one.
Now, if you're a fan of the genre, if you're a fan of sci-fi, if you're a fan of these actors, trust me, this is the movie to watch this weekend. Anyway, that's all I have for this one, guys. I can't wait to see what you all think about this film in the comments. I really want to see if you guys want me to do a deep dive into this to really catch on all the little details that they sprinkled throughout the movie so we can revisit it and digest it together. If you like this video, do me a big favor. Hit that like button. This way I know that you like these videos and you want me to continue doing these. Otherwise, I'm going to have to check you guys later. Peace.